Good day, grade 10 researchers. For this particular video lesson, we will be focusing on the topic sampling. So in here, you would be learning about different sampling technique that you could use in your research later on. But before that, let's define these two terms, population data and sample data. So for population data, from the word itself, we're going to get data, information, opinions, evidences from a certain population, entire population. For example, the population of participants that you wanted to gather information from are all the students enrolled in public schools, specifically in secondary schools in the division of Iloilo City. So, in that case, you need to, for you to have a data for the entire population, which is population data, you have to interview or let them answer survey or questionnaire that you have prepared all of those students from public schools in the division of Iloilo City. Remember, there are 7 districts in the division of Iloilo City. So all of the public schools, secondary schools under that specific district of Iloilo City, you have to gather information from them. So that's population data. But there's also another type of data, which is a sample data, wherein you are going to get a specific sample only few numbers of participants from every districts of where that specific secondary schools where those students are enrolled nga gusto mo nga mag-answer sa imo nga data. So in short, sample data is just a portion or just some part of the entire population that you wish to answer your research questions by them answering the questionnaire that you have prepared from them. So for you to get a sample, you just have to select. Later on, you would know randomly or whatever type of sampling technique are you going to use to select a sample from the population. And that sample that sample data that you have will now generalize conclusions from the sample to the population that you wish to answer all your research questions and answer the questionnaires that you have. So before you realize the importance of getting this sample, let's try to answer this question first. Why should we only get a sample of a certain population and not the entire population as respondents of the study? So I'll give you a minute to think through what could be the answer to this question. Having an idea earlier the difference between population data and a sample data, why do you think we should only get a sample of a certain population and not the entire population as respondents of the study? So now, let me reiterate to you why is there a need for us to get only samples. First thing that we could consider is it would be impractical for you to survey the entire population. Remember, you are grade 10 students. Most of the time in weekdays from 7:30 to 5 p.m., you are here inside the school. And how would you let all of those prospect respondents or participants of yours answer your questionnaire if you for a fact can't even go out from school and go from one place to another just so all those people, all those students, your prospect population, entire population could answer? It would be a waste of your time. Aside from that, it would need you much effort, money, to travel from one certain area to another just so they could answer. Or um, even subong, no, although Google Form is applicable naman for you to just prepare it, you encode there your research instrument and just send it to those people you would want to answer, especially those population. But I could still say that it's impracticable because um, as I've mentioned, you have only few minutes left as vacant for you to go to the division office, and besides you are minor, no, you are not allowed much to travel or go to from one place to another just to get certain list of these students who would answer this and that. So it's impracticable for you, not so practical. And entire population damo na siya, so that includes more resources for you to prepare for, and knowing that you're still students, you still rely to the allowances given to you by your parents. So it's a big no-no for you to get the entire population to answer that. Next is your budget constraints prevent you from surveying the entire population, as what I've mentioned. Next, your time constraints prevent you from surveying the entire population. I've mentioned it as well. And you have collected all the data but need na results quickly. Remember, you have to do your proposal for a week after you have returned to school in January. And your graduation would be May, on May. So you only have 5 months for you to finish from your preliminary parts, chapter 1, chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5, references, appendices, even suspend your paper to grammar check, and even formatting in just 5 months. So you need to gather quickly the data from your respondents as much as possible. Let it be run by your statistician and have the result immediately, because if that would delay for if would take you a year or two or more for you to gather all the data from all the respondents, since you wanted really the population data, then you might not be able to graduate on time. So that's the reason why when we look for participants of our studies, we just get a sample, because as I've mentioned earlier, the sample could now give a generalized conclusion from the data that you wish to get from the entire population, because they belong to that certain population, and they could give somehow approximately the same responses or answers to the questions that you give them. Pareho na bala kung kung election time, di ba lang nagapa-survey, hindi man na tanan ang ginapasabat ng survey, only a few sample from different areas are asked to answer that same question, and then they could generalize somehow response or sabat sa amo na nga poll or survey. So that's what we also do in research. We only get sample because, again, it's impractical for you to survey the entire population. You don't have much money, time, and effort, and you need to graduate on time. So that's why sampling is a must. So now, how are we going to determine the sample? Usually, in a quantitative research, ha, for example, ang mga type of research design mo later on would be descriptive research, quasi-experimental research, and so on and so forth. Then you or mostly descriptive research, correlational research, no, you're going to use a Sloven's formula for you to be able to identify the exact number of sample that you get in that population that you wish to answer your research questions. So here is the Sloven's formula. To get the sample size, or small letter n, you just simply divide the entire number or population of the participants that you wish to answer your data divided by 1 plus population times margin of error squared. Usually the margin of error in educational research is given a value of 5%. So that's 0.05 automatically. Do standard siya. Do pareho na bala in physics. When asked of the value of acceleration due to gravity, there is a standard value, and you know for a fact that it's 9.8 meters per second squared. So just like in educational research, the margin of error is 5%, and that is 0.05. Now, for example, here's a certain scenario. A group of researchers will conduct a study to find out the relationship between the study habits and academic performance of grade 10 students. So, in short, this is a correlational research, descriptive correlational research, because it wanted to look for the relationship between two variables, and that is study habits and academic performance of the group of students. And if there are 98 grade 10 students enrolled in the target location, so kaya syempre, ang ato nga researchers are grade 10 researchers from laboratory school. And since they wanted to conduct it to grade 10 students only, not grade 7 to grade 10, so they asked the staff in the office, how many grade 10 students do we have? And of course, even if not asking them, by just counting how many grade 10 students in gold and in diamond, they know already that there are 98 of them. Okay? So if there are 98 grade 10 students enrolled in the target location, and the researcher plans to use a sample using 5% margin of error, what should be the sample size? So again, if you notice, the entire population is 98, so that's capital letter N. And margin of error, as mentioned, is 5%. So in decimal point, in decimal value, that's 0.05. So as earlier, I have introduced to you the Sloven's formula. And this formula is as what you can see on the topmost part of the presentation that I have here. So we just simply substitute the values. N is equal to, again, the N is the total population of grade 10 students, and that's 98. Divided by constant value, which is 1, plus, again, the N here is 98. That's the total population of grade 10 students. Multiply it with the margin of error, which is 0.05. And remember, there's a squared here. So you have to square the 0.05, which is the margin of error. Okay, so after that, of course, we still have to resolve this value. So, di ba, follow kita PEMDAS, no? There's a parenthesis and there's exponent. And 0.05 squared is equivalent to 0.05 multiplied by itself, which is 0.05. So, that is 0.0025. We just simply copied the numerator and, of course, the other values in the denominator, since we still simplify the value of 0.05 squared, and that's 0.0025. Now, following the PEMDAS still, there's no more parentheses, there's no more exponents, but where the next is multiplication, and there's a multiplication value here. So we multiply 98 times 0.0025, and that is 0.245. So after multiplication, may plus pa din, no? I-add na ni siya, it's 1.245. So 98 divided by 1.245, that gives you 78.71. Now, remember, in the question earlier, we're dealing with people. And there's no 78.71 people, right? It should be whole number. So kung may sobra na da 0.78.01, 78.05. So even if, di ba may rule na iya sa mathematics, no? if gusto mo i-move into whole number, make sure that the next value is more than or equal to 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But in this data sa Sloven's formula natin to get the sample, regardless it's 7 yung next or 1, 2, 3 or 4, let's say for example 78.10, still we have to round it up into 79 kay nga wala sang utod nga parts sang tawo. So when we count them, we have to count them one person at a time. So 78.71, that's equivalent to 79. So in short, the sample population nga pasabton mo sa imo nga instrument later on are 79 students. It depends on you later on if you would be doing that randomly, stratified manner, or purposively. So later on, i-explain ta na ang difference sa ila. Now, hypothetically, amo gini siya no, kung total population niya 98 and then na-solve mo na ang sample size niya, that's 79. Okay. You could also use, kahit syempre may na kita subong mga digital calculator, no? You could search in the internet Sloven's formula calculator, or you may use this particular link which I will send in our group chat later on. So, i-type mo lang ni diri ang total population, automatically ihatag yun na dayon ang result. Same result if you solve it manually. So, here's the process. Hambal yan di ko, no? To solve Sloven's formula, simply enter the population. So, I have entered here the population size. As I mentioned earlier, that's 98. And, when you click calculate, of course, the answer will be 78.715, which is the same with our manual calculation later on, no? So, remember, kasi again, we're dealing with people here. Kung may sobra lang da nga decimal points, so round up tagin na siya always. So, it becomes 79. Pero, darlings, Aria, gina-recommend ko lang sa inyo to use the Sloven's formula nga online tool as calculator for you to verify if your manual calculation is correct. Kay basi bala, when you substituted the value, kay nagmanual, kaya nga solving, basi may nagsala kada, tapos lain gali ang value mo, pero ang gina-expect sa imo, dapat 75, 79 ang calculation. So, dapat, in short, anong obrahon nyo sine? Dapat, masolve ka mo gihapon manually to get the sample size, and you just input the population size in the Sloven formula calculator to verify if your answer is correct. So, dapat i-verify gini niyo ha, kay may instance to daan before last year, I think, group of Miss Garbosa, nagsala ila calculation sa Sloven's formula. I wasn't able to check it because I assume that they were able to calculate it well since I taught them the formula, even the substitution. So, nagsala lang sila gali. Instead nga, squared nila gin times 2 lang nila ang 0.05. Instead nga, 0.05 times 0.05 kay squared na siya. So, that's why nagsala. So, overall, liwat ila process, liwat ang process of data, nagkandak sila sa kulang nga respondents nga kinanglan masabat sa ilang nga instrument. So, hindi naton gusto nga matabo na sa inyo nga maliwat-liwat pa kamo kag mabudlayan pa kamo after final defense. So, again ha, reminder, you have to solve your sample. Pila gi dapat ang sample nga kwaon mo based on the population that you have. After solving, may result ka na, i-verify mo imo sabat diri sa may Sloven's formula calculator to ensure that the sample that you get is really a representative data to answer the data which is supposedly should be answered by the entire population. Now, remember, another thing that you should remember, grade 10, kung if ever kamo no ang inyong di bala usually daan sa lab school, although in the real practice dapat kung sino ang imo respondents, for example respondents mo yan na students in lab school, no, dapat naga-pilot test ka or nagakuha ka nagapilot test ka from other school. Pero ang ginaubra naton diri sa lab school kay para dasig maka-graduate lang kamo, and you know the process is you get already the sample size, and the remaining for example di bala 79 to no, ang remaining na nga pila ka bilog from 79 to 98, wait lang, will be the respondents for your for your reliability test later on, or for your pilot test. And another thing that you need consider is kung di ba grade 10 imo respondents, researchers ka mo, grade 10 man ka mo. So, is there a possibility that you shall include yourself on the sample size nga masabat sa inyong research questions? The answer is no. So, for example, pila ka mo sa inyong grupo? 8 ka mo sa inyong grupo. There are 98 of you included na kamo sa grade 10. So, ang inyong population, you must exclude yourselves as researchers in the entire population. So, again, if your respondents are grade 10 students, there are 98 of you, including you, all the members of your group, dapat ang inyong entire population, i-minusan nyo na sa number kung pila ka mo sa grupo. So, kung 8 ka mo, meaning, ang inyo nga entire population should be 90 only. Dapat excluded ka mo. Hindi pwede nga dala ka mo sa randomly nga ma-select as a sample, because that would be biased. And as researchers, we must be unbiased at all times. So, i-remember nyo na Pero, ang ako nga example niya, this is only if grade 10 students ang participants. Pero paano kung kamugali inyo nga study, you are, gusto niya inyong respondents tanan, from grade 7 to grade 10 students in the laboratory school. So, amo man naghihapon obrahon nyo. Kay wala ka mo exact data, pwede ka mo kadiritso kadto sa staff, sa kay Sir Carl. Sir Carl, pwede ka kami kapangayo pila ang exact number of grade 7 to grade 10 students enrolled for this school year. Hatagan ka mo ni Sir Carl B. Example lang I am not sure if this is correct. So, base sa subong 380 ka mo kabilog. Now, 380 ka mo kabilog. And, as mentioned, dapat kung inyo respondents is lab school, dapat i-exclude nyo in yourself as researchers to be part of the sample. So, kung for example, 7 ka mo kabilog sa grupo, ang 380 nga ginhatag ni Sir Carl, minusan nyo sang 70, meaning, ang inyo entire population nga ibutang lang sa formula is 373 minus yourselves. Again, to be unbiased, So, mo na inyo, tandaan nyo ginaha kay i-counter check ko na later on kung mag-check na ko sa inyo nga chapter 3. So, dapat siguraduhon nga nag-follow sa instruction ni Ma'am Aba. So, i-exclude gid ang inyo nga selves as participants, and that means nga subtract nyo na yung inyong selves or number of members in your group to the total population nga ginkuha nyo. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Again, to identify the sample size for quantitative research, usually we follow the Sloven's formula with 5% margin of error. Okay, now, we're done explaining why is there a need for us to get a sample only, a representative sample, to give us responses or answers to the questions that we have, and answer the research instrument that we have prepared as a group or as a researcher. We're also done explaining how to get the sample size in a certain quantitative data, using the Sloven's formula. So, I need not to explain to you how to get a sample size for qualitative data since for this quarter, for this group of students, kamoya usually inyo ya more of quantitative data kamo. So, just that, para hindi kamo ma-overload sang idea. Now, let's move forward to the different sampling techniques that you might use in your study. So, by the way, I failed to inform earlier, no? Disclosure lang, this instructional material, this PowerPoint presentation, are based on the PowerPoint presentation of my former professor in West Visayas State University, Dr. Sage. So, I have just enhanced some part of it and utilized it for instructional purposes. So, I hope I will not be charged with copyright because I just used it not for for profit purposes but for instructional purposes to aid my instruction, because I believe that his PowerPoint presentation is very clear and enough for you to understand. And by the way, my grade 10 students, this topic are actually taken by us during our masters. So you are fortunate enough to learn many sampling technique when you are still grade 10 students. I'm not certain if this will be discussed in senior high school, but hopefully you would be listening and getting ideas of how these different sampling techniques differ from each other, such that in the future when you go to senior high school and even college and postgraduate studies, when you conduct your research, you are now acquainted and you know what are different sampling techniques that you could use for your specific study. So now, for sampling, there are two types. Could be probability and non-probability sampling. And here are the sampling techniques: simple random, systematic, stratified random, cluster, and multi-stage, so on and so forth. For non-probability, we have quota, purposive sampling, snowball, and convenience sampling. So let's discuss them one by one. So let's begin first with probability sampling. So from the word itself, members of the population are selected in such a way that each individual member has an equal chance of being selected. So probability sampling, that's it. And subject selected in such a way that every possible sample size has a same chance of being chosen. So amo na tanan-tanan ginabutang na da sin unang mga probable informants or I mean probable respondents mo, gather mo na tanan nila data sino na sila, and then all of them has a chance to be participant or sample of your study. So now, let's talk about the first type of probability sampling, and that's simple random sampling. So what is this simple random sampling? Selection so that each has an equal chance of being selected. And one way that we could do to follow this simple random sampling is have that lottery or fishbowl technique. So fishbowl technique na iya, you have a fishbowl, it's either anong ibutang mo sa fishbowl, numbers, abi for example entire population mo it's kagina to 98 no nan, so example 98, so ibutang mo da nga rolled papers, each rolled paper tangan mo na numbers 1 to 98, so 98 ka rolled papers ang ara dira. Tapos, in a fishbowl technique, balaan mo na sample size no, nakalculate mo na kang gina, and you know it's 79. So, makuha ka da 79 kabilog from the 98 rolled papers in the fishbowl that you have prepared. Randomly kuha ka lang da 78 kabilog kag kung sino da na nga number, and amo na kung ano na ang mga numbers ang nakuha mo, 79 kabilog, so those will be the participants of your study. Now, if you have incorporated numerical in your fishbowl technique, you have to make sure nga na-assign mo na may lista ka na sa tanan nga grade 10 students. Tapos sa 98 sila gin-assignan mo na sila number or code. So number 1 abi for example si Adolfo, number 2 si si Alcudia, Number 3 si Guarte, and so on and so forth until 98. So dapat aware ka na sina kay para balaan mo kung sino na ang mga participants mo na. Okay, in lottery naman ya, butangan mo coding, pwede man sa subong di bala may ara na kita sang tawag na ng spin the wheel na pwede nyo na magamit amo na gamiton nyo to get simple random sampling. Spin the wheel nga app online para hindi ka na yung magasto pa sa papel-papel. So, i-disclose mo lang. You use this particular application to randomly select the 98 sample of my participants. Amo na siya. So, that's simple random sampling. Everyone has a chance to be selected since they are randomly selected. Now, we have another example of probability sampling, which is systematic sampling. So, in here, you're going to select some starting point and then select every kth element in the population. For example, kangina. Okay. 98 kabilog ang imo nga entire population, right? And then you're going to select kung sino man da ang ikatatlo per me sa entire population. So, numberan mo na no, from 1 to 98, ginis 1 to 98, sino na yung mga respondents nga assigned to that. So, in every interval nga 3, kung sino man na natupa sa number 3, amo na siya ang imo nga participant. So, for example, ang number 3, sino na siya? Si Alcodia. Ang ika-number 6, so another 3 na, di ba? Si Guarte. Siya man imo nga respondent, for example. Another 3, 6 plus 3, that's 9. Ang ika-9 dara sa population or sa lista mo, for example, no, si Aldaba. So, siya man will be part of your respondent. So on and so forth. So, that's systemic, no? Ma-assign ka na ikapila sa imo nga lista, ang every interval, pilion mo, siya na yaang ma-part sa imo nga participants. But make sure lang ha, when you assign this nth or systemic sampling, ikapilang element, dapat siguraduhon mo nga maigo or ma-target gyapon ang 79 to nga participants ha. Remember, 79 dapat ang samples mo as what you've mentioned kay 98 kabilog imo population. Next is stratified sampling. You subdivide the population into at least 2 different subgroups that share the same characteristics, then draw a sample from each subgroup or stratum. So in this particular example, we have here 2 strata, women and men. So randomly, we pick 3 women and we pick 3 men from those groups or subgroups, women and men. So, that's stratified sampling. So, dapat same characteristics, pareho sila babae, pareho man sila lalaki in another group. And dapat, kung pila ka bilog ang ginkuha mo sa amo ni nga subgroup, amo man na sa another subgroup, considering that they have equal numbers of participants or population. Pero, if ever, kang gina, no, same, no, equal number of population nato, no, 4 ka women, 4 man ka men. So, kuha kita yung tatlo, ti okay lang na iya. Ariya, in this case, we have 3 different strata. Those who get high income, like for example, ang income nila abi 30,000 and more in every month. Average income, let's say for example, 15 to 30,000 per month, and low income are those 14,000 and below per month. Kita nyo, ang number of families nga nag-receive high income is 1,000 kabilog nga families. Average income 2,500. Low income is 1,500. So there are 5,000 families that we have, and it is very visible that among these strata, ang average income nga family are the highest are the average the strata nga naga-contain sang highest number of families is the average income. So, when you get a sample in this different stratum, you have to make sure that it is relevant to the amount or number of family that we have. So, meaning, kay damo diri ang average income, meaning more percentage of the sample dira mo kuhaon sa average income. Another, kay second highest ang low income family nga strata, ti dapat second highest number of samples man dira ka makuha sa ila. And of course, kay 1,000 lang nga families ang sa high income, dira man niya ang least number of participants or sample nga kuhaon mo. Now, pamangkot, ma'am, how are we going to get the percentage for us to get the exact number of samples in those different strata? Here's what you're going to do. Di ba balaan mo na ang total number of families? That's 5,000. And you know as well, how many number of families will receive high income, average income, and low income? So here's what you're going to do. The number of families nga naga-receive sang high income, for example, you divide it with the total number of families, and that is 5,000. So 1,000 divided by 5,000, that is equal to 0.2 or 0.2. That means 20% of the population, which is 5,000, is ang kwaon mo nga sample sa 1,000 ngini. Okay. Next, same man for average income. How do you get the percentage? So 2,500 you divide to the number of families, that's 0.5, and of course 1,500 divided by that number of families, that's 5,000, that is equal to 0.3. So this agrees earlier that dapat ang highest number of participants, that's 50%, 0.5, dira makwaon naton sa average income yielders nga family. 30% dira naton kwaon sa low income, and 20% of the population dira naton kuhaon sa may high income. Okay? Next. Ano dayon? Since you now already know the percentage that you shall get in every number of families, dili na nato ni identify kung pila ka bilog now ang aton nga kuhaon nga sample, entire sample, no? So di bala kang gina, entire number of families, that's 5,000. Earlier, intudloan ta kamo sang Sloven's formula, and you need to solve using the Sloven's formula for you to be able to identify pila gid dapat ang sample sang imo nga study. So if you're going to use the Sloven's formula, 5,000 as the entire population, you could get 200 as your sample size. So that will now be your sample population. So i-distribute ta na siya equally, but in equity sa tatlo ka stratum nga ara sa aton kangina. Di ba nambal naton 50% of that 200 sample size must come from average income. So 200 times 50% or 0.5, that's 100. So in short, sa 2,500 ka families nga nag-report that they have average income, you're going to get only 100 from them, from the 2,500. Next, ma'am, paano ko mabalaan naman ma'am pila ang sa high income nga family ang kuhaon ko out of 1,000? So the same thing as what you did, di ba? Balaan mo na pilang percentage, that 0.2 or 20% of that. So 20% of the total sample, but not the total number of families. 20% of the total sample size nga paansiron mo sa imo nga data, i-multiply mo na 0.2 times 200, so that's 40. So in short, 40 people or 40 families receiving high income amo nang kwaon mo ya as respondents for your study. And another for low income, for example, no, that's 30% or 0.3 times 200 nga sample size, that is 60. So 60 ka families ang kuhaon mga respondents from low income families. So kung i-total mo na 100 plus 60 plus 40, amo na siyang equal nga sample size mo, 200, di ba? When you solve for Sloven's formula. And manami ni siya yung pagkuha mo sang number of sample in every strata, because mas approximate ang pagkuha mo nga data, kay nga mas damo ang ginkuhaan mo sa more number of families, average income families, kay sila gid man ya ang pinakadamo sa population. So this is what you're going to do in a stratified random sampling if the different strata that you have don't have the same value or number nga gina-expect naton pareho kang gina sa women nga tag-apat-apat lang kag men. Area lain-lain may 1,000, 2,500 and 1,500 families. Now, this could also be applicable din sa lab school. If ever imo nga participants is from grade 7 to grade 10. Remember, ang grade 10 subong pila lang kamo no, may ara nga 40 ang very good example gid ang sang last year, kay ang may ara sang grade 10 nga last year nga tag 30 plus lang kada section. So very different ang total number population sa grade 10, do mga 70 plus lang. Tapos ang grade 9 naglabot sila 98, ang grade 8 before may ara nga 95. Tapos ang grade 7 100 sila. So lain-lain ang values. So we could use this stratified random sampling as well if we want all of those students to be representative or to become sample of our data. So syempre kung grade 7 100 sila, mas damo gid dapat nga sample coming from them compared sa grade 10 nga gin-mention ko nga 70 plus lang sila. So para equal ang distribution sang participants. So here's what you're going to use, that type of sampling. Another is also cluster sampling. You divide the population into sections or clusters, randomly select some of those clusters, choose all members from selected clusters. So anong example dire no? Interview all voters in shaded precincts. So di bala kung election, damo-damo sang precincts no in that one school kung diin kita naga-vote, kung diin naga-vote ang inyong family members. So, kay kadamo-damo sang cluster line lain nga precincts, pwede lang na iya nga ma-randomly select lang kita sang, for example, pila ni kabilog, 32 ang total number of precincts. Tapos for example, makuha lang kita ya sang 3 abi ka precinct no kung diin naga-vote ang certain number of voters. So, precinct 5, 28, and 16. So, sino to tanan-tanan nga nag-vote in these 3 precincts will be the specific participants of my study. So, that could be as well. Next is multi-stage sampling, also called multi-stage cluster sampling. So used to overcome problems associated with geographically dispersed population when face-to-face contact is needed or where it is expensive and time-consuming to construct a sampling frame from a large geographical data. So for example, imo nga study gusto mo ya nga focus kagidyaya sa Western Visayas, no? Tapos, considering mo, ang Western Visayas is composed of different provinces, Angklan, Antique, Iloilo, Capiz, Guimaras, Negros Occidental, no? So, dapat, kabaluman kita yung isample, tapagid kay, damo na sila, kung makadto ka na sa tanan-tanan, ambot, kung matapos may mga study, kung makanda ka na sa ila, all region 6, no? Yawan ka na, time, you don't have ample time to do that. So, pwede kita ma-focus sa Iloilo, and still, Iloilo is composed of many provinces and cities, diba? So, pwede man ma-focus pagid kita sa Iloilo City. So, in every stage, pwede pagid naton ma-subdivide kung diin gid para mas specific. So, kadto sa Iloilo City, dapat ang Iloilo City pagid, as mentioned, is composed of 7 different districts: Haro, Mandurriao, Villa Arevalo, Molo, City Proper, Lapus, and La Paz, di ba? Pito na sa kabilog. So pwede ka pagid kapili sang isa pagid nan. Kay para mas exact or specific ang imong study, no? Now, I would like to share my study in masters. It's an example of a multi-stage sampling. Although more of purposive sampling siya, pero ang process ko ya do multi-stage siya. Kaya nga my participants vary. May ara ko ya participant nga teacher, may ara nga science coordinator, which is higher or the department head na bala. Tapos may estudyante man ko nga participants, may parents pagid. So anong ginubra ni Ma'am Aba? My research local or the location kung diin ko gusto is of course the division of Iloilo City. And as mentioned, ang division of Iloilo City is composed of 7 districts. So nag-randomly select ako 3 ka districts in among the 7 districts in Iloilo. So nakuha ko nga district is, one is Haro, another one is City Proper, and the third one is Lapus. So Haro, City Proper, and Lapus are the 3 districts nga una ko nga na randomly select, no? So in that specific district, ginpangita ko pida mga public schools, secondary schools lang nga ara dira sa Haro, ara sa City Proper kag Lapus, and makuha lang ko tig isa-isa kada district. So sa Haro Ave may nakuha ko mano ang sa may Haro 1 National High School. Sa Haro is ang sa TCT Chuchoteg. City Proper is ang sa Fort San Pedro, for example, National High School. Lapos, Salandoni Memorial National High School. So ginkuha ko multi-stage, no, from district to school level. Tapos sa school pagid, pangita ko pagid, di ba damo science teachers da, pingita lang ko ya isa ka teacher, isa ka science teacher in that specific school, sa 3 to ka school. Tapos ang teacher nga na ma-identify kung sino nga student, isa. Tapos ang parents and student nga na amo na may interviewon ko pagid. So those are examples of multi-stage. Lain-lain nga stage ang pagkuha sa sample. So I hope you could realize that. Now we're done with probability sampling. Now let's move on to non-probability sampling. So non-probability sampling is not used when the goal of the study is to draw empirical generalizations about larger population or group. So kay nga weak na siya, kay gamay lang, wala kaya nakakuha sang sample size gidya nga specific sa iya nan. But later on, tudloan ta kamo paano you can make your weak data into strong data. Correlation sa purposive sampling later on. This one, ang non-probability sampling, is best used in exploratory research studies where the goal is to gain some initial insights. So exploratory, usually qualitative research, or kung kwaon mo lang yasang foreview or insights of what the study is all about or what you wanted to look for. Next, findings could be viewed as suggestive. Suggestive lang siya, mo suggest ka lang kay nga gamay lang ang nakuha mo, non-probability. And not all has an equal chance to be a respondent of your study. You're only focusing on these certain people, kung sino lang ang available and what. So is ang result mo just suggestive, i-suggest mo lang, but you would say that this is the data that I have shared to you is not generative to the entire population. Kaya nga again, you did not give chance to all people in the population to be selected. So one example of non-probability sampling is convenience, accidental, or incidental sampling. So samples most available are chosen. Samples are familiar to the researcher. Examples are friends, co-workers, or shoppers at a single mall. For example, abi, imo nga study you wanted to know what specific store or area in SM is mostly ginakadtuan or ginabaklan gidyasang shoppers. So of course, for convenience sampling, kung sino lang da ang available nga makita mo. For example, ma'am, pwede ka ni answer. Kung mapasugot siya, convenient sa iya, okay sa iya, pwede siya ma-answer. Kung hindi siya, wala, ngita ka naman iban kung sino lang da ang ara da. Nan. Tapos, for example, may another study ka, tapos, ang imo pa-answeron, kung sino lang na available, arang classmates ko, ari akon nga family member, siya lang na ma-answer. So, not very reliable ang result. It's because, as a researcher, you're only using, or you're gathering the data because convenient ina siya para sa imo. So, the data that they could give to you, or the result of your analysis later on may not be entirely what the population supposedly nga ginapangita mo nga sabat ang magwa. It's because you just got the sample based on convenience sa imo kag convenience sa ila. Another is snowball sampling. It's done with the help of study subjects to choose other potential subjects, a useful tool for building networks and increasing the number of participants. And it depends greatly on the initial contacts and connections made. So, very good example sini is pareho na bala. Ang example ang sa Avon na bala. I-train nila anay kung sino ni ang pwede nga mingin reseller ni. Nan. Tapos, kung sino man na ang na-train nila nga reseller, sila naman na mangmangita kung sino ayan ang pwede pagid nga mangin gusto man nga mangin reseller. Kaya nga when they attended the meeting, they were given an idea that kung ma-reseller ka, damo promo, damo ka ma-save, kag damo ka profit nga makuha. So kung sino to ang initial mo nga subjects, sila ya mangita pagid sa kung sino pagid nga pwede maka-join sa training kag magin reseller. So nangin mas damo ang imo nga participants because kung sino man tong initial mga prospects, sila pagid nagapangita sang another participants. So this is still another type of non-probability sampling. Another is purposive sampling, usually done in qualitative research. This is used when you want to access a particular subset of people based on purpose. So meaning, may rason nga sila imo nga paanseron. Kay sila ang best people to give answer to your question. For example, your study is about on the relationship between the level of online game experience or the time spent in using particular online game, which is Mobile Legends, for example, to the academic performance of those students playing the Mobile Legends game. So of course, purposively, the type of students that you shall get is those players ng Mobile Legend. Diba? Dapat sila lang dapat. So, you have to have an inclusion criteria or criteria kung diin makapasok kung sino man da ang respondents nga pwede dira. So, for example, inclusion criteria, the participants must be, of course, players of Mobile Legends for specific time, for example 1, 2, 3 or years, depende sa imo. And these Mobile Legends players must be enrolled in Iloilo Science and Technology University Laboratory School for school year 2025-2026 and so on and so forth. So may inclusion criteria ka nga sila ang best to represent for your study. Kaya nga your purpose is to gather data from those players of ML. So that's why dapat sila ang masabat sa imo nga questions. So amo na no, di blagin hambal ko kang gina, this non-probability sampling um, is not used to when the goal of the study is draw empirical generalizations about larger group of people. Pareho sa akon nga gin-share kagina. Diba purposive sampling ako? I have only interviewed bisan multi-stage to know from different districts. I chose 3 schools kung diin dira nagahalin ang participants, but the entire participants nga ginkuha ni Ma'am Aba is only 13. In every school, 3 ka participants, 1 ka teacher, 1 ka student, 1 ka parent. 4 gali. 1 ka teacher, 1 ka student, 1 ka parent, kag 1 ka science coordinator. So 3 na ka schools times 3, that's 12, plus 1 education program supervisor in science, that's 13. So I only have 13 participants. So it could not give a generalized data para to support that my data is really strong. So kung lang tawon mo, weak lang na siya kasi I have only interviewed 13 out of many possible participants that I should get. However, considering that it's a qualitative research, my data is mainly interview, and the interview takes 1 hour to 2 hours per participants, and I need to interpret the data thoroughly. Ang data nga mag-gather ko, although representative to the parents, students, parents, students, learners, and even the science coordinators, I could say that it makes my data strengthen or mas okay siya because gin-triangulate ko ang data. Gina-counter check ko nga ang sabat, i-check ko if ang sabat ni teacher nag-agree gid man bala ang students, ano ang hambal sang parents, anong hambal sang science coordinator. So manami siya kay nga lain-lain nga klase sang participants even if gamay lang sila. And aside from that, I have also gathered artifacts or data to support their claims. So, syempre, during the pandemic, to no, ang akon nga study, tinangayo kuya sa ilay sang mga proof nga nag-conduct sila online classes or kung ano-ano pa na in support sa data nga ginpang wakal nila sa akon. So, that makes your purposive sampling in qualitative research also reliable kag valid imo result because of triangulation of data. Different groups of participants have shared data and somehow do pare-pareho ang ilang sabat. So, representative to the entire population. So, that's purposive sampling. And lastly, we have quota sampling. So, there is a quota to be established. There is freedom to choose any respondent as long as the quota is met. Di ba pareho na bala sa dapat sa subong adlaw makaubra ka mo sa mga tailors na bala, dapat sa subong adlaw makaubra ka mo 30 ka dresses. So dapat they have to meet that quota kay amo na ang gina-require sa ila. So kung as a researchers kinanglan nila 50 ka bilog masabat o dapat bisan o lang na bata pair or basta 50 ka bilog importante ma-met or ma-meet ya ang quota nga gin-establish beforehand, then okay na siya. That's quota sampling. So subjects here are recruited as they arrive and the researchers will assign them to what groups or variables, age, or background of or educational background nila later on. So wala na sila na mangkot anay beforehand kung pila edad nila o ansira lang anay. Tapos, dira na sila, after na nagsabat, dira pa ya i-identify kung sa diin siya na belong sa millennial, sa Gen Z, sa Gen X, so on and so forth. So, that's quota sampling. And again, quota sampling, just like other non-probability sampling, are not considered or not really, encouraged for researchers if you want to generalize data from the entire population. So most of us, we use the probability sampling, simple random, stratified random sampling, multi-stage cluster sampling, or one of the non-probability sampling, which is purposive sampling, considering that we have included the inclusion criteria, and we triangulate data to available artifacts or kung sino pa na other groups to strengthen our claims or result later on. So that's it for this session. I hope you have learned why there is a need for us to get only a sample as respondents for our study. How do we get the sample using the Sloven's formula? And look for a most appropriate sampling method, sampling technique based on the probability and non-probability sampling methods that I have shared to you. So good luck, grade 10, and I hope this lesson could help you in clarifying things for your research. Thank you and have a nice day.